A West Texas organization is giving back to a South Plains DPS trooper seriously injured in the line of duty last year. The 100 Club of West Texas presented a $5,000 check to McCrary Johnstone this afternoon. Johnstone was seriously injured just outside of Smyre last February when troopers say a man intentionally crashed his truck into Johnstone's DPS vehicle. We told you about his subsequent troubles recovering Monday. The 100 Club provides cash benefits to first responders and to their families who have been injured or killed in the line of duty. Club organizers say when they heard Johnstone's story, they knew they had to help. We also have a link to support the family at kcbd.com.